Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tabletop Bob. My name is Bob. I'll be your, I guess, Dungeon Master, MC, whatever we're going to do tonight. This is an unusual episode of Against the Giants. We're here with Chris, Dasha, Jeff, Nate, and Tim. John is unfortunately not able to be with us tonight, but we are having a very special. I think, what did I label this? What did I title this episode? It's the After the Final Roll, Chapter 1, The Hill Giant Setting. So I've done these after the final rolls a number of times, usually after the final roll of a campaign, after a campaign has ended. But I feel like this game has been such a, I don't know, it was so focused on the Hill Giant issue in the first part of it. And then it's going to do kind of like a big switch and pivot, and the campaign's going to shift to different parts of Illustria, and it's going to have a completely different feel to it. I feel like it fits the point of an after the final roll, which is to kind of recap, discuss, I don't know, maybe just have some closure on a big segment of the adventure. And this adventure is broken up in three real distinct parts. So I think it's actually a great point to discuss and have that after the final roll moment, even though the whole campaign hasn't finished. And we'll obviously do one after the second part and the third. And I guess we're calling them chapters now. There'll be 3 chapters in this game. And so after the final roll, chapter 1, the Hill Giant Steading, here we are. All right, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. All right. And that is what Sasori is going to be doing going forward here. What's Sasori doing? John, you want to... Oh, wait, John's not here. That's right. I forgot. He just looks just like Inigo Montoya, that I feel like I see him there. And I'm like, oh, John, I wish you were here, man. Wish you were here. No, but John told us he couldn't make it, and he'll be hopefully when we get back in... Well, I guess we should maybe start there. When we get back with part 2, John will maybe kick in some of the answers here and give a little of his own recap from Sasori's point of view. But I guess we should start there. We're not going to play for a few weeks. We're going to be taking, I guess, the month of August off for the game. And this is not something that I really anticipated. Just where we ended and where we're starting with vacations and all that mixed in, it just feels a lot more reasonable to start back up in September when schedules get back to normal. So we're coming back in September. Chris is going to be sitting at his chair the entire month of August, waiting.
Yeah.
That's all right. But Chris, what are we going to do in this meantime? What are we doing for August? Let's kick the whole thing off for that. Since we're not coming back for a few weeks, what are our plans for August? Let's start with, let's see. Let's start with Nate. What are you going to... You're in a pickle right now, aren't you?
I am. I am pickling this evening. I'll be definitely doing a bunch of pickling in August. We've got some jalapenos we're doing. We got some banana peppers and some cucumbers we're gonna be doing.
Sweet.
The light doesn't really adjust well, but um month of August, lots of family, lots of housework, enjoying a little bit of a break in the lumberjacking. Oddly enough, August, summertime, not a big lumberjack time.
No,
Um,
no, it's not. It's not the
so
season.
gonna be enjoying that.
Great. Excellent. And what about you, Tim, another fellow lumberjack?
Yeah, also off season for lumberjacking here. I'm probably gonna do a little bit more camping, canoeing, and maybe keep chipping away at my research work for grad school. That's pretty much the big thing.
Interesting. I mean, this is research for it, is it not?
This is in fact research for it right now.
There we go.
I'm studying post-conflict states and what is to keep on the borderlands if not a post-conflict state. So here we are.
Realize my lights were on. Yeah, that's great. Excellent. So you'll be doing research. Boring. All right, it's fine.
Yeah, that's the boring part of my day.
You know how most people go and like study at a Starbucks or something like that? You do it at Red Lobster. Is that correct?
I was gonna say it's same in a just go this new location. That's not Red Lobster and not my house and not somewhere else I'm staying. So I think this is probably like the 5th or 6th place I've streamed from. This is like I gotta go through and watch all the episodes and tally up all the places I've streamed from, but we're in a new location today.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, and then let's go over to Chris. Chris, what are you doing for the month of August?
I'm going to be sitting here the entire time, scowling at my screen.
Oh, poor Chris.
Yeah. No, I won't have my son at all next week. He'll be with his mom, so I have an entire week free. So I'm probably, surprise, going to go up to the mountains and do some trout fishing.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Dasha, what about you?
I don't have a lot of things planned, but I have two goals for myself. One is to play more music. So my goal is 20 minutes a day because I have a million different instruments just sitting there that I haven't had the energy to play. So I'm going
Mhm.
to try to actually spend time with that. Um,
The
and
recorder,
then that I do play I do have an wooden alto recorder.
the
I
kazoo,
don't play that one much. But no, I have a million. The hurdy-gurdy is the one I really need to
the
get back to a
hurdy-gurdy.
little bit. But I got a mountain dulcimer last year that I haven't played in a while, so I want to get on that as well. And I signed up for a knitting course. I'm currently crocheting, but I signed up for knitting starting next week, so I'm excited for that because I used to know how to knit when I was younger, but I could only knit like a rectangle. I couldn't do anything fancy or like sweaters or anything, so I'm
Mm-mm.
excited to learn.
Now, what does a knitting course, you said? Is this like you're learning?
Yes, yeah. So
Ah,
there's
okay.
a little shop in my town where they sell yarn and crocheted and knitted like or already made clothes and things, but the owner also teaches crochet and knitting. So I took crochet with her last summer and it's like I come for 2 hours, she shows me how to do it, and then we sit there and crochet together and she corrects my mistakes and we talk about life. And then she gives me homework, and then I come back the next week and I show her what I've done, and she gives me corrections. Then we do it again. And I made a few projects. So I
Sweet.
assume it'll be the same with knitting.
Awesome. Well, that sounds like a great August.
It's going to be hopefully relaxing.
Nice. And Jeff, what about you?
I live minute to minute. I have I have no plans. I just have family that makes demands.
Oh, there
So
we go.
from,
Fast and the
I'm
Furious.
I'm a sandwich generationer, so that's
Okay.
that's where a lot of my free time goes. Hopefully in and amongst I'll get a chance to play with all my stuff, my little toy soldiers and stuff, and paint some more and print some more and maybe play a few new games.
Can't go wrong
And
there.
we don't have any trips planned this summer yet, but you never know. We might think one up. So I
Awesome.
don't know. It's vague.
Well, you
We're
know what?
flexible.
Sometimes it's good to go minute by minute and just, be versatile, be ready to adapt.
I don't
Ready
know
to
what I'm
move
doing
to-
tomorrow. So you ask me about August, I have no idea.
If you want to go to Red Lobster, I know every Red Lobster in the East Coast and the tri-state area. So minute to minute, day by day, I can tell you every single one. You have to ready to
Okay.
transfer at a moment's notice.
Do you have an
That's
app?
funny.
No,
So
I
I
have
can
an
just
encyclopedic knowledge.
look for. Oh, okay. You
Just
are
text
an
me and
app.
I'll let you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think we all know my routine. I think I chatted it out every year. I go away the end of August, so the last 2 weeks of August, basically, beachy stuff like that, family stuff, and that's usually when we don't play here on the channel. So that's why August kind of we're in a weird spot where it's like we have 2 more weeks before that, and then we'd have to take off 2 weeks anyway. So I feel like it's a good moment to pause here, and then we come back strong in September with part 2 or chapter 2. Also, a little announcement: we are having the tabletop barbecue. Some of these people are going to be there. Some will not. Unfortunately, schedules are tricky, but it's going to be August 7th, and that's going to be Friday night. We're going to set up a stream for that. I don't know what time exactly, but if you've seen them before, usually everybody kind of gathers literally like right here, and we chat about whatever's going on. And we'll definitely be talking about Keep on the Borderlands and Against the Giants and Strahd. Strahd's nearing the end of that campaign, so a lot of stuff to talk about there. And I'll probably do some sort of a channel recap as well. So overall, lots of fun stuff. So do all the good YouTube things, like, subscribe, hit the bell, all those good things. Now, tonight we're here to talk about Against the Giants. We played 20 episodes of the Hill Giant Steading. In the actual module, they're actually called that. So it's like Against the Giants is what they called like the compendium of all three. But when they were released, they were actually just separate adventures that kind of like were sequels to each other. So this one is called the Hill Giant Steading. That's actually what it's called. And Against the Giants the moniker came afterwards. But this is a really iconic one. Like lots of people in the D&D, if you play D&D for any long period of time, this module's name has probably come up. Against the Giants is pretty popular. It's one of those Gary Gygax adventures, just like Keep on the Borderlands was. There are a lot of that weren't written by him, by the way, so we haven't played as many, but this is one that, you really see his stamp on. And I think we start this adventure or this chat by recapping the adventure. So I'm going to go all the way back to our Wayback Machine and go back to January, right? January we started this game. Tim, you have a question?
Just want to shout out Greyhawk Exile for the wonderful comment in the YouTube chat. So
Oh,
thank you, Greyhawk Exile. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
I just saw it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm never looking at the chat. I'm usually not, at least. Thank you, Greyhawk. Always a pleasure. Greyhawk's been around since the beginning. I feel like it's been. Oh, and the channel, by the way, just hit 6 years. The channel just hit 6 years, like this week. Yeah. I created the channel in like end of July. I don't think I posted anything on it, but it was created 6 years ago. YouTube reminded me like this week. And then I think the first episode was probably a month from now in August when we did Avernus. So brings me back. Yeah, so thank you, Greyhawk. And so back to the beginning of this adventure, we started in January of this year. We started the whole campaign off with a bit of I guess it would be a flashback at the time, but it was Eris's backstory. And I think, Dasha, we'll start with you. Eris is the new piece to this group. How does it feel being a part of the Char Coalition now?
It feels great. It was a little intimidating at first because the crew is so like locked in and so good and everyone works so well together and I feel like it's a channel favorite. So I was a little bit intimidated and a little nervous coming in, but I mean, I think I've played with everyone in this game at some point or another, and so it's not like I was coming into brand new people. So, and you guys were very welcoming and thank you
I
for having
thought
me.
I thought you were going to say everyone was so dysfunctional, so that was intimidating.
I mean,
How
you
it looks
guys,
from the outside and how it feels on the inside are very different things.
every family has a little dysfunction, but no, you guys work really well together. But it was really fun to come into that and bring a new element of something new for you guys to have to deal with as well. Of her. I feel like she's not a very difficult personality, but obviously she brought a little bit of not conflict, but maybe disagreement in terms of philosophy and beliefs in gods. And that was a fun, I mean, when I was reading the whole like gods 100 pages long document that Bob sent me and figuring out like which she's a monk, which god is she maybe gonna veer towards, and I saw Noctis. I was like, oh, that's fun because the party and Nate's character specifically was very focused on the opposite of Noctis on Hyperius. So that helped make the character, and Bob was very helpful. We talked a lot leading up to it about backstory and things, and I loved that opening scene. That was better than I could have even imagined having my character introduced. So thanks for setting that up, Bob. That was great.
Yeah,
Fun
we
to
had
have another deist in the group.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh yeah, deist.
Somebody
Yeah,
else who's
yeah.
someone else who's a believer.
deist.
Uh-huh.
I was just
Yeah,
going to footnote the document that Dasha referenced, which is the work of Mike,
Mm.
which I don't know if we say last names on the channel, but Mike that you know from other campaigns,
Yes.
the bunny in White
In
in
Witchlight.
Witchlight.
Yeah. No, we've talked about Mike a lot on this channel. Mike's obviously been on the channel, and we actually talked a lot about, I think, Mike's work on that in the beginning of this campaign. Mike, he listens in from time to time when he can, but he's a busy guy. I've talked about it many times. Like he's developed so much material for that, and thank you, Mike. And we played in campaigns, Jeff, you and I as well, in Illustria, so we had some background on it. And when we started playing, I was like, Mike, I want to use the gods and the pantheon, and that's where it all started. But then I started to incorporate more of the world, and you've already seen that. I think this has been more of a even though you're still on the same continent, you've definitely learned more about Ilmith and the legends behind it, and even the gods. I think in keeping the Borderlands for sure, but now you're getting even more of the background. So I hope it feels natural. I've been adding my own flair to everything as well, as I'm sure you probably are aware. I've talked about some things that I've been dying to share, so I will tonight. But yeah, the adventure started with Eris's backstory, and you were in Ilmith and your monastery, which again, we don't know everything about Eris yet. And there's a point where I think maybe even after the next chapter's final roll, we'll talk more about it. But there's stuff about Eris you still don't know, and what the monastery was really all about. And I think you've done a good job of giving clues, and maybe there's lots of guesses to what you could be and what the monastery could be. but generally speaking, we don't really know much about the people you've learned from, your friends that were there, and although they were very short-lived. We'll maybe learn more through. We know that you can always get more backstory.
Well, no one successfully followed her and spied on her praying. Everyone's tried and failed, so you guys just have to roll better.
A bunch of creepers.
And
Yeah.
maybe John in particular,
Yeah.
if you're listening, roll better dice.
Well,
Because
by the way, Bob, Chris from Long Island is trying to buy his way into the barbecue with a
Is
super
he?
chat.
oh man,
Oh
I don't-
man.
He's bringing red lobster,
Thank you,
so
Chris.
I think we should definitely, we should consider it.
yes,
Oh man, Chris. Yeah.
Good idea.
Cheddar Bay biscuits.
He
That's
can't
great.
say
Oh.
no to Cheddar Bay. Come on.
Foggy Planets is bringing some fresh trout right up Chris's alley here. Look at this.
I'll cook it.
We'll see. We'll definitely do a little heroes feast. Maybe take some pictures of the food and talk about what we made. I know Dasha's making some. What is it again?
I'm making the banana pudding from last year, and I'm making the bread pudding recipe that Cam shared with me. So thank you again, Cam.
Cam.
Haven't
Shout out
tried
to
making
Cam.
it yet. It's gonna be my first time, so I hope I do it right.
There we go. I'm sure it's going to be great. Excited for that. So the game started out with the attack on the monastery. I really wanted to start off there because I wanted to show like the brutality of the giants. I think most of the time when people see giants in D&D, especially like 5e, they're just like a stat block of like hit points, and they mostly are not interesting. And yeah, there's usually like one giant you might fight. They're kind of isolated most of the time, and they die, and then you move on. They're usually not the villains, and I need you guys to hate these giants. I need you to feel like you're
Mission accomplished.
yeah, exactly. And so I made them like more of a organized, militaristic, and brutal breed of giants. So I hope you hated them. And Eris, I think that shined right till the end, right?
Oh yeah, you gave the most like tragic, angsty intro,
Yeah.
and that carried through for her.
Sweet. Excellent. And then after that, we kind of went back to the keep, and the keep, because you had all been trapped in time, going from Quascatin, to Vecna and all that stuff, and then back to the keep on the Borderlands. I wanted it to feel like you guys were out of place, and time had passed. So it'd been about 4.5 years had passed at this point from the events of the original keep on the Borderlands. So what had changed? And of course, Skeggi and Erik Lavernus were not at the keep all that time anyway, right? They only came back very briefly before Quascatin, and then you were all gone for about 1.5 years. So it's like I wanted to make it so that even Barak and Heironimous and Sasori, who had been living there, felt like it wasn't really their home that they had known. And let's start there, and we'll talk with Barak and then Heironimous. Barak, what do you
Sure.
feel about the start, or the I guess the state of the keep?
I mean, didn't love the zealotry. Barak has I think Barak was a zealot, and so he knows more than most, like what it's like to kind of begin the process of pulling out of that just extremist black and white thinking. And he feels definitely caught between something that's always given him strength and confidence in what he's doing, and how it can be warped and misshapen for other people's uses. And so trying to kind of find that balance, and the back and forth with Eris has really thrown an interesting curveball in there, where it's interesting, like she almost seems more dedicated to her god than Barak does to his at this point. Not to, I don't know. That's kind of almost just because I see Barak pulling away more and more, and finding more and more gray areas. So but I love the I love that I suck at stealth and I can't figure out Eris's like prayer. And I feel like it makes so much sense for Barak to be so curious about it. So the keep though, oof, yeah, sorry. Don't love it. Hoping we can recapture the spirit of acceptance that Barak thinks he left there.
Yeah, because you were the priest for 3 years, basically, after the
Exactly.
events of Keep on the Borderlands campaign. So,
I've been
you know,
an inspiring leader for years.
Yeah, and you had a flock, so to speak, and now to see that being taken away by Bracera, what was her name? Oh my God,
Whoa.
Briseis?
Briseis.
Say it. No.
Briseis. Yeah, Briseis, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Briseis.
Briseis, yeah. And Sir
I mean, I
Glenn.
have my notes here. I could look at that, but yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, love
That feels
Sir
like a million
Glendor as a
years ago.
character. I love that everyone in the party despises him. And like,
We are conditioned to be distrustful of clerics at this point.
I
of
love it.
NPC clerics.
Don't
True.
get me wrong. Barak is a little more understanding about this one. He gets where you guys are
Yeah.
coming from.
No,
We've been down this road before, and it did not
Yeah,
end
he's
up
like,
like twice.
Trying
No,
to
I-
approach it with a little more stability on his head than I was actually rewatching some of the older episodes with Xander Cartwright. I was his boy for like
You
two or
were.
three episodes.
You really
Oh,
were.
Yeah.
hard to watch.
You know, with
Yeah,
the Keep on the
so-
Borderlands, that's a famous part of it where there's this evil cleric in disguise, and he is, trying to, do the terrible things in the caves, and befriend the enemies. That's like a classic thing. Had to include it. I kind of hate
Loved it.
when a DM plants like a evil character to like backstab everybody, but he didn't really backstab you. He kind of showed you who he was, I think,
Possessed.
essentially. But
Oh, we
was-
knew.
he
but
thought-
we
he
couldn't
thought
convince
the whole
anybody
time,
else.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, okay, good, all right, good. But yeah, and Sir Glendor, he's the man. He's helping all the displaced refugees. He's given food and water. What's not to like about this guy? He looks like Leonidas. What's wrong with him?
He's an idiot.
How old is he, Bob?
How old is he? I think I have in my notes here that he is 35.
Dang. So in my mind, he is a little older than Barak. All right. I was hoping he was younger and that Barak could like mentor him out of his brashness, but he's like a bit older. I
How
think.
old is
So I
Barak?
don't know.
How old is Barak? I don't
I always
even know.
imagine Barak is like mid-20s, kind of in that like
When?
he began with just overwhelming confidence.
Well, he's
you
in
know,
his
early
30s
20s.
now.
We've known Barak for 5 years now, so mid-20s when he started, or mid-20s
Maybe he's
now.
30. Okay, maybe he's 30-ish.
Okay.
He's starting to be like, okay, he's starting to settle down, realize maybe he's
Yeah.
doesn't
Okay.
need to be as brash.
How old is I guess with the gnomes and the dwarves, it's a little more ambiguous. It's such a long length of time. But how old is Eris and how old is Eric Lavernus?
Eric Lavernus is like a David Bowie or a Tilda Swinton character, where like just ageless, like a Patrick Stewart. Like who knows? Is he 35? Is he 85? Who knows? Certainly not me. But I would guess like late 30s, early 40s.
Okay, so he's a little bit older than Barak and Eris.
I think I said in the first episode that she was early 20s.
Okay, so she's the youngest, basically.
I think so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I would imagine Sasori is probably similar in age to Barak, or if not a little older. But yeah, so I'd say that's about it. And we know Skeggi is relatively old, even for dwarves. And Heironimous, is he a young gnome? Is he a?
I wouldn't say. He'd probably, in human years, be around 40 or so.
Okay, gotcha.
wow.
So middle-aged,
You're a child.
middle
Yeah,
of the
but I'm not sure on the gnome aging scale, but
right. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize that I was like literally 10 times older than everyone else in the group.
Gnomes can
Skeggi is
live
not at
500.
Yeah, is longer than dwarves. So that's why I assumed that you were probably older than 40. I figured you're
Yeah.
probably about a century. But you're all kids to Skeggi.
Yeah.
Because Skeggi's not as old as he looks.
Yeah.
Because he's been sick.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
exactly. Yeah. And he's getting
That's why.
healthier. He's getting healthier. He's getting
Is he now?
yeah. The sun is helping him a little bit.
he's
Getting
getting
out,
better
the
at
fresh
that
air.
crossbow.
Yes,
I'm curious to see how that plays out because you mentioned that to me
Yeah.
before we started.
He's not
Uh,
as sickly as
it
he was.
hasn't-
He's recovered. Yeah.
It hasn't. I haven't seen it.
He's just not. And he's not
Reflected,
sickly.
yeah.
When we first met him, he was like, a strong breeze could maybe do him in. Now he's like, he's got some vigor back. He's getting there. Nothing of note yet, but we'll see.
Okay.
Okay, so then Heironimous, from your perspective, you came back to the keep after the same amount of time absent. Now, you weren't the leader of a flock. You kind of stayed in your tower and whatnot. But what did it feel like for Heironimous to come back to the keep, seeing where it was at?
Well, first I want to comment on the addition of Eris to the party because before her, like we didn't really have any opposition to the religion of the party with Barak, and the only real kind of like like there was like I had like a little kind of uh non-religion versus religion thing going on, but I think towards the end of the first adventure I kind of saw the power of Barak and his faith, so then I started encouraging it and like almost taking part in it myself. So I think that she brings in a really good opposition, like we need that kind of contrast, right? Which didn't really exist at all in our party because our only other religious force is Prince and the evolution, Prince and the Revolution.
That's an interesting point because I don't the expression of faith in the party has been so wrapped up with Barak's journey.
Yeah.
And no offense to him, but like
No, yeah.
Erik plays his cards so close to the vest. And I don't know I don't even know what he thinks of his own god. I couldn't guess that.
Who is his god?
The trickster
Betherius.
god.
Betherius. God of
See,
change.
he's more like just a rogue that casts spells, as far as I can see.
As far
There's one thing that's true. Maybe in any
Well
campaign,
said.
it's I'll play a cleric in the loosest sense of the word cleric.
Yeah,
He's not religious,
Love
he's
it.
spiritual.
Yeah, exactly.
there you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really a
So-
druid cleric.
I like the element that she brought to the group, as well as a side of like softness and pleasantness, which I think was very much lacking in this party. So
She bakes cookies for you guys.
She kind of charmed Heironimous with her cookies. So I wanted to comment on that. And then what was the question?
The keep.
That was supposed to be answered?
What's his opinion of the state of the keep?
Oh, it's shambles, and Heironimous is very angry at the fact that he finally got like a living. He grew up in a terrible situation, and he finally made his way to have like something in his life, and now it's taken away again by the siege on the keep and his inability. He's angry, more angry.
Yeah, and actually,
He's
I think
turning green.
you had a lot more role play moments, heavy moments than I think in even the Keep on the Borderlands, because I feel like we learned a lot more about Heironimous through this season and having to kind of come out of his shell a bit more. Eris helped with that. So I feel like we've learned a little bit more about Hieronymous's, this other side of him, basically. And you posted a few things in the Discord, which I loved to read, and maybe we can even elaborate more on as the season goes on.
Yeah, I kind of like if you hadn't been reading the Discord for Heironimous' backstory, you probably should, because every character has a very tragic backstory, and his is very tragic. So, but there's more coming. I have a lot written ready for this. So I've been holding off until I used up all of my inspiration to be able to.
There you go.
to get more.
Well, I love it. And then we'll jump over to the other side here. Tim and Jeff, both of your characters hadn't been at the Keep for a while. You came back to go to Quascatin, but that was really a short-lived moment at the Keep. And now you're back. What about your character's experience? We'll start with Skeggi, actually, and then we'll jump to Erik, because Erik has his own demons he's dealing with. So we'll go down to Skeggi first.
Well, we didn't really discuss in any great detail between you and me about what Skeggi had done in the time between Keep and Quascatin.
No,
but I mean, basically speaking, I think that what he did was he returned Scori's remains to Trollslayer Hold, and then basically saw to the succession, handed the Thainship off to a cousin, because his son Scori was his last son, and he's too old to start a family now. And I don't know what he's kind of at loose ends. I think probably now that he's finished his business at home, and
Well, he was at loose ends.
yeah, I mean he's done there, but
Yeah.
he's other than that, I guess he's kind of waiting to die, and and hasn't managed to pull it off yet. Although I thought a few times in the last few weeks that we might just get it done, the death thing, but I'm sure that's going to come up later on.
Well, I'm excited to explore a little bit more about Skeggi's home, because I think we've talked about this at the end of the last episode. We're going to be going to the part of the world where Skeggi is originally from. So it's a long journey, and he's now done it a few times. He's going to have to do it at least one more time, at least one more. And we'll see what the world is like there, whether or not you need to like actually seek out any of your family or any of your kin. But like, the story is going to move. We're going to move geographically. So excited to see that. Tim.
That would be awesome.
Yes,
Go ahead,
sir.
Jeff. Do you have one more thing to add?
No, I was just
Oh.
sign off basically. Go ahead.
Tim, your character, we talked a lot about why you would have returned, because
Yeah.
for Skeggi, they were doing a celebration before the In Search of the Unknown, the campaign with Quasqueton. They were doing a celebration to commemorate like the anniversary of the Keep heroes saving the Keep. And so you would have been impossible to find, right? There would have been no courier that could have found you. And you had left the end of that game with the young boys. So how is it possible that you ended up coming back to what would bring you to the Keep?
I'm just like imagining like the courier in Skyrim like showing up in the most random places. You're like fighting the dragon, and like the courier's like, "Hey, I've got mail for you." It's like, no, there was no mail reaching Erik Lavernus.
No mail.
Yeah, at the end of campaign 1, I had scooted out of the Keep with Edgar and Alan because we had similar backstories, and I was like, I can take care of these kids, because if there's two things that's true, it's that I won't play a cleric correctly, and that I will adopt an orphan in D&D. And so I scooted out of the Keep with them, and kind of like in the between seasons of the campaign, like not on the channel. Something between Erik and the twins divided them up, and the plan was to like, if we get split up, meet back at the Keep. And so here's Erik back at the Keep, and the twins are not here, but things have clearly shifted in the Keep. And so it's boy, if they do come back here, that could get rocky. And on top of that, obviously Erik is dealing with his own addiction issues and drug issues. So it's things have changed between campaign 1 and campaign 2, and not for the better necessarily.
Yeah, and in our
Erik
version
feeling
of...
like
Oh, go ahead.
oh
Yeah,
sorry.
please go ahead.
Was Erik feeling like fatherly or paternal to these kids, or is it more like
Paternal is like
himself
guardian.
Okay.
Not
Is he
like
like stressed that he doesn't know what happened to him?
yeah, I mean, like it's like I think Bob and I discussed like something bad certainly happened to one of them, and the plan was to get the other one and be like, hey, let's meet back at the Keep. And so the fact that like now both of them are absentia is like a big problem.
I kind of liked that element, because I think in the early days of our Keep adventures, we kind of bonded with the townsfolk and like the kids and all that. I know Heironimous did as well with when he put on his death costume and tragically tried to give them all presents, but they were like crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was trying,
Yeah, I think
we did have deep roots in the Keep.
Yeah, when
So
you
we're
all came
giving
here
that
first, you
kid-
came here for different reasons, right? Obviously, but you all kind of we're trying to go and either escape from something or start new, and that kind of was what I think bonded the group together. However, within our campaign, we decided to do something that's a little different than D&D and even Mike's campaign and his version of Illustria, where certain of the races don't really exist. Like, most people are just the classic fantasy races, and things like tieflings, like Erik Lavernus, or Dragonborn, or anything like that. Anything that's a very non-classic race is something that is either considered like a mutation, like evil, and people are very scared of that. Especially tieflings. I would imagine the fiendish ancestry freaks people out. Not Eris, but Eris is very much a normal human, but I think she would understand and sympathize with that as well. So things that are not common with the fantasy races are kind of shunned, and so Erik has used his power to be able to sort of disguise himself at all times, and he's finding it difficult to do that.
Yeah, power's getting a little bit wavery, a little bit shaky, and without my fix, I'm jonesing. You can't
Yeah.
see them scratching my arm. I'm jonesing. I need my fix.
Yeah.
And it's getting increasingly difficult to find. And certainly, like the past 36 hours awake in like a giant stronghold is really making it like it's challenging. It's
It is
tough.
true. Most of the
Being
last
Erik is tough.
we had like 15 episodes, 13 or 14 episodes where we've been awake all night.
I was thinking
Been
about that. And like it's
long
been a
night.
while now, and I have the tree sap, and the giant was going to help us. Now he's actually like, I want nothing to do with you guys because we're up with Glendor, and it's like now
Oh,
we're really
Magar.
potentially
The
I'm
half
like potentially
giant,
really out of luck. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Magar's
we've-
an ogre.
Yeah.
We've
okay.
figured out he's a tiefling, right? We know this. This is.
Oh yeah, I think the party knows.
I
the
think
party-
Heironimous
I don't think
knows.
Eris knows.
Oh well, you're gonna
So
find out
there's-
soon enough. 'Cause
There's two parts to this. I think most of the party knows. I don't think everybody knows. I think we most people found out that he was not human in the Keep on the Borderlands during the final fight, but that would exclude Sasori. So that would exclude him. And I think when Quascatin transported you back, you lost your ability to do that for a brief moment. And then I don't remember who the first person awake was. I think it was Heironimous, or it could have been Skeggi, but it was one of those two, and they might have seen you again in your state. But that would again exclude Sasori. So he still doesn't know. And Eris, I don't think knows, because the only time that you dropped your appearance was when you were in the market and you dodged her that day.
yes, yeah, that's right. Because I was being tailed.
So,
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's been interesting to see these characters come back into the world and reintegrate. And Eris was actually kind of like your guide back to the keep, because she had been there for months and you had not. So she kind of knew the lay of the land when you all came back. And I had to do it. I didn't have to make it this obvious, but I made the death scene of Scory your apartment. That was just
That was
more
amazing.
for, I mean,
Oh,
it's just more
I fully
for the comedy
expect
of it.
that. Wasn't surprised by that at all.
The
I feel
blood
like I could
stains.
have. What are the odds? I said.
I
I'm
thought
the.
it
I
was
said
great.
I'm the DM. What are the odds? I could make it whatever I want. So
Or whatever you want them to be. It's my camera now.
it was great, and you met Glendor. You
yes.
met you met with the Castellan, who you had met already actually, and he's very very much doesn't know what to do. He's kind of trusting Glendor because he came with with reinforcements. So he's kind of trusting him. But Glendor has made lots of military mistakes, including trying to end the whole campaign once and for all. Pickett's charge sort of failure with the Giants when they first arrived at the keep. So I think Glendor is kind of at his wit's end. So is the Castellan. And what do we know? The heroes of the Borderlands come back and they send you on a mission. Not before some weird stuff happens, and we see how deeply, like Nate had said, cult-like the church had become. Briseis bears all to everybody and shows that the gods may still have power here, or that there's some sort of connection. But you all head off into the woods. You search for the giant Steading. Barak, very importantly, takes a sending stone from Glendor, does not tell the party, and keeps that kind of a secret. And it comes back to bite him, I think, in the end. But that was how you left. Yeah. And then you went to the World Tree. That you found the World Tree, which was something that you had not discovered. It was a sapling, actually. It was this giant tree. I mean, it was bigger than most trees you've ever seen, but still was a sapling, according to the wardens who guard it. These, what's the race now? Furbolgs, who guard it. And them, along with other giant kin, they kind of protect this area of the forest that separates the demonic side of Ilmith, the old Ilmith, which is the north where the ancient ruins of a vast civilization were. This is kind of imagery and things that you've seen in the keep. I think some of you had dreams. The crystals produce these dreams, and it's imbued into the land is this demonic infestation. And apparently, according to them, the old World Tree, which was very strong, withered and died, destroyed after about 4.5 years ago. Some event happened somewhere in a great evil, and it tainted the tree. You guys have any idea what that could have been? I don't know. Don't really
Apparently
know.
nothing we did. Nothing to do with us, I'm sure.
Eric's having visions of
We
Nilissa.
did nothing.
Right.
Wheels in space.
Yeah, wheels in space. Eris had nothing to do with it, so Dasha, you were exempt from
Innocent.
this. Yeah.
Innocent.
Don't
Yeah.
shoot the
Yes.
messenger.
She's done
Magar,
nothing wrong ever.
That's right.
Hey.
Magar, the half ogre, is actually became your guide. You helped him and some of the wardens fend off some of the demons, and so in order to get the giants back to guarding the tree and not performing what they believe was their maybe spiritual sacred responsibility of the divine binding, which is basically this idea that the gods had left them as sort of like an alarm or perhaps some sort of end of days sort of contingency plan, and they're being led by a chief named Nasnra, who was chosen by the gods to be the leader of the giants, the hill giants here in Ilmith. You also learn that there's more of these bindings happening on Jogundar, which is the northern frigid areas. There's frost giants coming to attack the lands to the south. And then you also have in Balga, which is the more like jungly, volcanoes or esque, landscape. That is to the south, a continent far to the south. Fire giants have been attacking civilization there. So these attacks are not unique to Ilmith, and they're happening all over the world. And so it's something that maybe the group is responsible for. Maybe they're not. We don't really know much about this. This is the first we've heard of it. So you headed to the hill giant Steading with Magar, and you infiltrated. And at this point, I think we'll switch gears and talk more about the thoughts about the giants and their plan. So I don't have anybody specifically to go to, but we can go back around the top to like Nate and then Chris. Sorry, I guess Eris went first. Maybe we should get Eris's your side of things here. What do you think about the giants and their plot and what's to come?
I think she's very seriously worried about their plot, given that she experienced some of the violence that comes from it firsthand. At the same time, she did have that like trying to follow her god's philosophy of being measured and patient and not rushing into things. So I think I think she also understands that not all monsters, quote unquote, are bad always. And so I think she did have that idea going into it of like, we can't just wipe out all giants because they're not necessarily all bad. And I think that was confirmed to her when, what was his name? The stone giant that was friendly to them.
Harnock.
Harnock, right? She had no problem with him. He was fine. She doesn't have this like vendetta against all giants. But when she sees the giant that hurt her friends and family, she kind of went a little berserk. And she
Brag
kind of
the
like
Butcher.
lost. Yeah, when she encountered Bragg, I think all vestiges of being patient went out the window, and she's going to have to deal with the ramifications of that because she put herself in danger and as a result, like almost got Sasori killed. And she's going to have to deal with that in the next section of this of like, she did not follow her god's tenets and things went bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
But
point, actually.
yeah.
You did almost get Sasori killed.
Yeah. And I think
'cause-
that might drive her
yourself.
even close,
Yeah.
even more to the. I feel like Barak's gotten a little less extreme in his views with Hyperius throughout time. I feel like her going against her god and it going very, very wrong might drive her in the opposite direction of a little more extreme.
Ooh.
I don't know. I haven't thought about it too much, but it could have that effect. I don't know. We'll see what
also,
happens.
you can make decisions in the moment. I mean, the Eris seems to be triggered by revenge, at least in this case. So,
Well, if
yeah.
anyone looks up the meaning of her name.
oh, look at that.
I like the idea of Eris as like the militant
Chat, get on
faithful.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, chat. Let us know what you find in your Google searches. Let us know.
Yeah. Her name was
Google.
chosen for a reason.
There's a spike in the Google search pattern.
All the people at Google are like, "Hey, Mike, looks like 4 people searched Eris tonight."
Exactly.
Up
Previously
400%.
none for years, except for Dasha.
Yeah, that's great. Awesome. I love it. And Nate, and we'll go to you too. What are your thoughts on the Giants? Because I know Barak had a little bit of you not to say use the same. You were kind of in a pickle as to what to do. Do you try to fight them? Do you try to save them? It's hard.
Erik wanted to save as many as possible going into this, but it seemed like, despite you saying, I don't know, there's a lot of different types of giants. a lot of them just seemed super kill, kind of one track mind. And Barak was like, man, I really wanted to give as many of you a chance as possible, but speaking with them did not go well at any point in the steading. So I I think he's kind of leaning into the like, shoot, I think we're gonna have to kill pretty much every giant that feels whatever this call is. But he
Yeah.
also knows what it's like to be called by some chaotic power. So he's wondering if, can we get to the bottom of that?
Yeah, maybe we
And
have to
if
talk about
so,
this for a second. Yeah.
yeah, like
Barak
he is
hasn't had as much
sympathetic to that.
conversation with Hyperius as more visions of Nihilissa.
Yeah, it's weird that he wouldn't mind a vision from Hyperius with all these visions from Nihilissa. It would be a little reassuring. Um, but yeah, so I think there's some sympathy there from Barak. Um, so he wants to figure that part out, whatever is calling them and turning them to this, because I think at this point he believes that giants are necessary for like the safety of Ilmith and for the safety of the world. Um, like all groups tend to have now. So yeah.
Yeah, we ended up not getting. I feel like not, and this is no fault of the party. The game plays how it plays, and some opportunities don't present themselves. Some do. Sometimes the party goes the right way, or the not the right way, but like one direction and not the other, and that could change the outcome of everything. But there were possibly a plot that we didn't really uncover. It kind of sorted itself out, but there were people who were dissenting. They weren't in favor of Nosra's
Mm,
decisions.
so
Bertha, who we never got to really get introduced to. You just met her very briefly. She was, I think, harassing the servant in the kitchen area, or the fireplace hall. You switched, I think, poisons or something with the wine, or you
mhm.
took the potions
Oh,
from her. Yeah, that's right. You took the
yeah.
potions from um, her chest in her room. We didn't get into that. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess we could start with that too, but I want to go around and talk more about the plot. Chris, what about you? What were your thoughts about the Giants?
So Hyro has a very, very narrow, highly focused view of the world. Basically, it's the world is out to get him and burn everything. So, over the last several years, however, he has kind of grown to at least allow some people into his world. The one primary person being Barak, who is really the only person that Hyro has considered a friend. There's this tiefling that Hyro has been warming to in recent time in his world that he has started to kind of understand and appreciate. But in general, um, Hyro's world is extremely black and white when it comes to uh, anything else, as far as those that can do him harm. There's a very small number of good and a very large number of bad. Giants are in the very large number of bad.
Yeah.
And this encounter has unlocked repressed memories from his early days that are coming to the foreground. That if you read the Discord chat, are growing in him. So yeah, basically Hyro, if you ask his opinion at any given time, it is kill them all. Because
And I gotta
that's
say, we needed that mindset at the last combat because I don't think the party would have survived without Heironimous. I think your spells, the area of effect, the Big B's hand, there were a
Bees.
lot of things that just made a huge difference in that combat because it was going bad. I saw a comment the other day on the video. I forget who said it, but it was like literally at the same point we had Eris, Sasori, Mohag, Orin, and somebody else. Oh, and Barak was trapped
I was gonna
all
say,
at the same
Yeah,
time.
right.
5 heroes basically taken out of the fight right at the same time, and like I don't know how it would have gone if we didn't have long range spells. If we didn't have that, it would have been bad.
Yeah. Well, so is kind of seeing an evolution in his own approach to magic and conflict, because he's seen there might maybe better ways than throwing fire. Maybe.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, he's going to have to adapt a little bit because there are fire giants later in the campaign. So
Well, he knows, but
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
frost giants now, so
that's right. That's right. All right. And
Do
then
frost giants take enhanced damage from fire?
I'm not telling.
One hopes.
Jeff,
I
what
was
about you?
researching.
What were your thoughts on the giants in this first part? And I understand hill giants are, of all the giants, can be the most like simplistic. The most I tried to make them as more I don't know, not political, but like just have some diversity a little bit. There was some of it, but they're just the most simplistic of the giants. But what were your thoughts?
Well, I think Skeggi was probably a little frustrated in that Skeggi is almost the exact opposite of Heironimous in terms of his personality or his nature or whatever. I mean, he is a former local official, obviously, and also a diplomat. And after a career as a soldier, he became a diplomat in his middle years. And so he wants to negotiate conflict rather than having a war. And he doesn't have any special fondness for humans, incidentally. I mean, he's pretty convinced that all of his sons died because of interactions with humans, that humans either directly caused and I have stuff written down on
They're
this.
the
That should go in
monsters.
Discord sometime.
Yeah.
Not necessarily they're the monsters, but they're the they're capricious, they are unreliable, they are impermanent, and they are careless, I guess. And so I'm not saying that he thinks that they're terrible, but he doesn't think that they are inherently better than anybody else. And that's why it didn't come up, but in that final encounter when Glyndor was rolling in, and I think I said it out loud that Skeggi was deliberately positioning himself physically between Glyndor and the orcs, because
Yes, I do remember
the
that.
orcs in Skeggi's mind, the orcs are allies. We have an alliance with them, and Skeggi has no more fondness for humans than in general. A small list of individuals aside, he has no more fondness for humans than he has for orcs as a species. And Skeggi was not going to let the Glendor roll in and go, oh, orcs, and kill our allies.
I love that point of view that eliminates that stigma. Dwarves versus orcs must fight. I love how
And I mean, I know that a kerfuffle in our offline interactions arose in the keep after the encounter with the divided orc tribe, and Heironimous is taking an opportunity to clean up some orcs. And
I remember that. Yes. Yeah.
And we managed to kind of skirt around it from a role play standpoint. And the moment kind of went past because it could have been really devastating to the party.
You're talking about in the orc cave when Heironimous threw a fire in Keep on the Borderlands, when Heironimous blew a fireball into the orcs who were allied in a sense with you guys. You were fighting two rival tribes. It was Grazclaws and the one we talked about this campaign.
I got
Grazgul?
notes.
The other one though, Grazclaw and somebody else. Chad will let us know. Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway,
that
Skeggi was definitely, and I was definitely not going to let that situation repeat itself. I wasn't going to see more allies murdered because they had green skin, or whatever the orcs in this world look like. And I mean that Skeggi's Skeggi's feelings towards humans have largely not come up in this campaign, because we spent most of it in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's not that he hates them; he just doesn't. He doesn't trust them.
Yeah.
And anyhow, doubling back to your original question, a frustration was there was never really anyone to negotiate with in this. I mean, we met some allies along the way, Magor and Harnock, but they weren't in a position to negotiate on behalf of the giants, and I never had any sense of what is it that they want, what is it that they need that is within our power to give them that will let them not have this war, you know? And so when you can't solve it with words, you fall back on the crossbow. I mean, that's what you got.
Well, like I said, the hill giants of all the giants are probably the most, barbaric. Like they're the most, just like, they're, for lack of a better term, they're big hit point bags in D&D. They don't get as much love as like the other giants do in terms of like their politics and stuff like that. Very excited though, because, and maybe scared for all of you, because the frost giants, they're no joke. Like they're like Norse, I guess that's sort of the inspiration of it. They're kind of like all about honor, and they have a very much a big political, I guess, sense. And they're not like hill giants in that regard. So hill giants feel almost like orcs from Warhammer 40K, where it's like the strongest, the biggest, they're just the ones in charge. The hill giants are not like that whatsoever. So I feel like or the frost giants are not like that. So I'm very excited to see what maybe could come there. But you're right. I agree. Skeggi wasn't in his arena, but he did great with that crossbow.
Before we move on, I would like to say first, Skeggi has really come into his own with that crossbow. I think it took some time for him to really develop the skill set for it, but man, he has saved the day on more than one occasion with those crippling crossbow
Skeggi
crits.
has one job in combat.
Yeah.
Single damage, single target, high damage. That's all he can do. I cannot
sneak attack
fight a crowd.
Yeah.
And this is a big level for Skeggi in terms of.
I want to point out, in respect for Skeggi, Hyro has made a lot of decisions to not pull the trigger when he was very tempted to avoid that collateral damage.
I noticed Hyro holding back a few times there. Yes.
There's been several times where there would have been a very gleeful moment of destruction, but Hyro did not pull the trigger.
Well, that's great.
Erik Lavernus, what are your thoughts on giants? What's his thoughts on giants?
Look, man, this is a big part. I know, like, Erik is not deeply religious, but like Betherius is the god of change, and like I'm not about the world ending, but like civilizations and powers rise and fall, and I don't want the keep to fall necessarily, but if the giants need to crack at it, like I'm happy to stand in their way for a bit, but I'm not losing.
What about Glendor? How do you feel about Glendor?
I think Glendor's a bad guy. I think we've seen enough of Glendor-like characters around. Glendor is giving big, I can't remember the guy from the first campaign, but the same vibes. Yeah, exactly. Getting big Xander vibes from Glendor, and so like I'm sure they're not the same person. They've got different motives and everything else, but like, look, man, humans and tieflings operate on organizational. Like we are a species of categorization, and if I had to categorize, Glendor is like a Xander.
Glendor does Bible study for his youth group. He does soup kitchens.
The harder you push, the less stress we're gonna have.
Erik can start doing that stuff.
He crochets. He actually teaches crocheting in the summertime at his local library where Dasha goes to and learns.
I think he's Gilderoy Lockhart.
I don't get that reference. What's the reference?
Harry Potter.
Second Harry Potter movie, the Kenneth Branagh character that was the big fake.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
I think Glendor is just a boob. I think he's over promoted and cruising on a reputation he doesn't deserve.
Interesting.
I don't think he's evil because I don't think Bob would do that twice in a row.
I think he definitely would. That's how they.
So-
That's how they get you.
I
That's
think
exactly how
Bob
they
I know.
get
thinks
you.
we won't think he'll do
I
that twice in a row, so
understand
he's
that.
doing it.
I completely understand the double head fake head in the whole thing, but
I also
still
think like.
think he's
the
just a
Gilderoy.
boo.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Nate.
I was gonna say I agree with the Gilderoy and that like he's in a position he shouldn't be in, and but I think he is skilled and talented. I think he's just misguided. So more like
I think his main skill is self-promotion.
Look, I think that's like I think it was in this campaign, but like in the first part when we were playing Keep on the Borderlands, where I was like the most dangerous person is like a paladin who thinks they're right. Like you never know what they're gonna do. Like a rogue, you know what they're gonna do. They're self-preservation. A paladin is like dangerous because like they're a loose cannon. And
Guys,
so I think Glender
I
is
based
also kind of
Glender
that.
on myself.
Bob's a loose cannon. Bob is
based
a
him on
loose cannon.
myself.
Glender's a loose
You
cannon.
always
Like you
thought,
never know.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's true.
All right. So Eric Lavernus is not terribly upset about the Giants doing this. He just doesn't want them to do it to him. That's really it.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I also think like to Jeff's point and kind of your point, like the Hill Giants, like I think Eric would have been happy to negotiate with them. I just don't think they were in a position like we had nothing to offer them, and they were in a position where
Right.
they were like willing to be diplomatic. I think like based on Eric doesn't know this yet, but based on your description of the Frost Giants, like if we can do this more diplomatically and like minimize bloodshed, like that's absolutely the better alternative than like fighting for a hillstead of 30 giants and being like, this is a terrible. We almost all died. We almost all died. Like we can't. We simply. Eric knows we can't do that again. Like if we find a frost giant hold and we're like, let's go in there. Like absolutely not. Let's not.
I got to clip that. We can't do this again. Got to clip that.
No, yeah. Start the next time we do it. Be like, by the way, quick flashback to
Yeah.
the end of July, and here we are doing it again.
By the way, Cam from Cam W from the chat, he said Chuck Rock. Yes, it was
Chuck Rock, thank you.
Thanks, Cam. Yeah, Chuck. Oh, rest in peace,
Legend.
Chuck Rock.
It was
And
the
a Chuck
orc
Rock
name,
is the
yeah.
thing you put behind the wheel of the car when you're changing the other tire.
A Chuck
The
Rock.
Chuck Rock. Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I think it was
Shuck.
Shuck Rock, if I'm not mistaken.
Shuck
But
Rock.
I think
I
it
have to go
was.
look at my book. But
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
so-
that's no fun.
you all seem to, like you said, talk about how there wasn't maybe as much opportunity to talk with the Hill Giants, and I do agree with you. It's kind of the way the story went. But I actually want to start and talk about some of the changes that that people who have played this adventure might notice. Obviously, we're doing this for an audience, and we're playing live, and it's live streamed. So there's a element to this where I think, from my perspective, I have to make this more of a I think, lack of a better term, a show, as opposed to like just us going and playing D&D on a Friday night and we just hack and slash our way through this. I think that was what this game was designed for, and I don't think that necessarily always translates well. Combat's great. I think one of our best episodes was the big combat episode, the last episode. But
Here's
I think
three
it
of
all
our best episodes.
yeah. Well, it was two. It was actually 2 full episodes of combat. But I think the episodes were good because of the weight that was behind it that we had set up throughout the entire campaign so far. If it was just us going in here, and I mean, literally, I mean, do I have it in front of me? Yeah. Like this is the start of it in the book, and this is the same in the original, where it basically just says, I'm going to knock everything on my desk over right now. Hold on. I mean, this is the adventure start. It's assumed the party has arrived safely at a spot near the giant stronghold, a small cave well hidden where they can hide mounts and equipment. They come to the place of the giants just at dusk. No windows are visible, nor can the giants or other creatures be seen about the place. The occasional bursts of shouting and laughter can be heard faintly within. Like, that's literally like how it starts. You're there, you're in a cave, you're looking at the hill giant Steading. Go ahead. The locals have hired you because there are giants in the area and they don't want them there. That's literally how Against the Giants starts in the original game and in this version too, the 5e version. It's just you're there because what do heroes do? They defeat monsters. So that's it, and it's good. That's nothing wrong with that inherently. But for us, what we're doing had to be more of a story, right? So I tied it all into the Keep on the Borderlands story that we had created. We're running the same characters. We're in the same world. I wanted to expand the world with this, and I think we did a really good job of it. And so the first big change was just certainly adding a story to it. I just looked. We were not into we didn't get to the Steading until like episode 9. So we spent like the first half of this in the Keep, through the wilderness, going to the World Tree, and certainly then the just Steading was actually the bigger part of it. But we spent a lot of time building up for that. So that was the first big change, and I think that we've just discussed, so we don't need to dive too much into that. But I will say this book, Big B's Glory of the Giants, presents Glory of the Giants. This book has been a big inspiration for me. I've taken a lot of things from this, including some stat blocks. You probably noticed there were some variant giant stat blocks that we used. Nasra was different than most giants you've ever seen. The World Tree that we fought in, that map you noticed was like a 5e Wizards of the Coast map because it's in here, right? So like there are maps and stuff, and I highly recommend that if anybody's going to run against the Giants, even if you are going to run it closer to the book, there's so many things that you can use here to supplement the adventure as it is. I think this is a big one. So, and then I had some ideas of my own, like for instance, the Divine Binding. That was going to be something that we put in here, and also there's a lot of intrigue around that because we have so many characters that we've heard of. We haven't met. Some of them we did, like Orinthus, the Cloud Giant. What the hell was he doing here? Who's this E, the signed letter? There's so many little pieces that tie to further into the campaign that I feel like, incorporating them is going to be interesting to see how we do it and how the players approach it. So there's a lot of changes. What are your thoughts on some of these things that we just discussed? Anybody, really. There's no order here.
I like it.
Nice.
Say, I don't know anything about the way we played it, and I think it's been great. So, like, I have nothing to compare it to.
So
I
the
would
way
say,
that
dude,
I have a
Chris
question.
or Jeff. Okay, never mind.
Question?
My question is, the way the original the Hill Giant Steading is written, does it have or is it just a Steading as a dungeon adventure, a self-contained dungeon adventure location, and all of the context is stuff that you've added as part of your campaign?
Yeah, I would say so.
Or okay, so it's kind of a standalone adventure location. It
definitely is. It definitely is. And I think if, without giving too much away about the other pieces to it, there is a connecting thread, but it's going to be different from the way we're doing it. Certainly, like very different story-wise.
Because obviously what's going on seems to tie back to stuff that's happened
exactly
in this campaign 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering, how much of the coordination between the different kinds of giants is original to the text and how much of it is stuff that you've added. And this is something we can talk about,
towards the end of the whole
probably
campaign,
a year from now.
It's very different than the book. I'll just leave it at that. Very different from the book. The book is, like I said, wasn't intended to be run as a story-driven adventure. It's hack and slash. But, I've tied in a lot of the pieces, like Waith is in the book, right? Waith's the sword, it's in the book. But I gave it a far more, I think, important purpose. If only one of you had attuned to it, you would know more. But we're going to have to learn through Mohag, I think, what Waith is up to. Orinthus is in the book, but not by name. A lot of things are in the book, not by name. The only named giant, I think, is Nasra and Gertha, his wife. And I'm not 100% sure Gertha is not an addition from the 5e version. So it could very well be that Nasra was the only named giant. So, Dasha's Bragg the Butcher, that was me. A couple of the other characters that you met in there, Magar and Orin, were actually given by suggestions from Vegas Paladin, one of our Patreon members in the $15 tier. He's been a long time follower of the channel, and in that channel they kind of talk about certain things and help out with ideas. So like some of the NPCs we've met before have been through that. Trying to think if there are any more NPCs in Keep on the Borderlands that were from other Patreon members, but I don't think so. there were a handful from other campaigns like Camilla and Curse of Strahd, which you may not know. But yeah, off the top of my head, I can't think of it. But yeah, so anyway, those characters were ideas. The concepts of those characters were there. And then I decided exactly where they would go, how they would act, what they would do. And it's been really good. I think Malgar was a good addition in the beginning. And I think Orin was cool in the end. And if Orin had lived, I think he would have been potentially maybe joining the group. I don't know. That would be up to you guys because that's tricky to carry on so many henchmen. But Mohag for sure is... he's still alive and he's kicking.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy, yeah. I feel like Mohag had potentially his death on the table.
Like a couple times, I feel like.
Yeah, in
Oh,
that last battle, if Dasha didn't roll a 4 for her death clock, if John didn't roll a 3, and Mohag ended up rolling a 2, I think, on his last one, so he was okay. But he went down twice. Like, it could have very easily been 3
It was a little bit.
He
players.
had like less
yes.
than 5 health for like the last 4 episodes.
He did. Yeah, he was low,
Like,
real low.
that was
He went
incredible.
down a few times. Yeah. And you know, I attacked him multiple times. Like I didn't like lay off on Mohag. Like I wanted him to. Also, Orin and Barak, I feel like most inspired him to again get his mojo back, get like courageous, and go in there and fight. So I think he was not going to not do it at that point because those two were pushing him, and he almost died like 3 times. So.
I pushed him to fight. I wanted him to survive.
No,
If I
no,
remember
push
right,
him,
you
push
asked
him
me
to do the right
tell
thing is what I think he.
Oh, sure, sure.
Because if you remember, Mohag when you first met him was pretty brash and he like brave, and then he kind of lost his courage when he started really seeing like the crazy chaos influence that was going on in the world, and then it took him all the way to the end of the campaign to like get his mojo back, and then he lost it again. He's like kind of falling back on his old ways, and then I don't know. He's got to figure it out. He's got to either get a new haircut or who knows. There were some nice moments between Eris and Mohag, between Barak and Mohag, even Sasori and Mohag. I think had some good moments this episode. Chris, we got to get you in a moment with Mohag and Hyro in the next chapter. I think.
How you had Waith adapted itself to Mohag?
Yes,
to some degree. And so when you said you were surprised that Mohag was the one who wound up with it, but when we first met it was a great sword.
It was just was a massive sword. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but the only person in the party who would be likely to pick it up was the guy who already had a named +2 Warhammer. So that's, I mean, Mohag got it by default. It wasn't really useful to anybody else.
Yeah, but when you're planning, like it's like there's a weapon in the thing, and I didn't necessarily know who would take it, but you don't have to, to attune to a magical weapon. I think once Chris realized, I think you identified that it was maybe like a sentient weapon. You said to Mohag to take it. Like it could have been any of you tuned to it to talk to it, to like discuss with it. But he's the one who Chris was like, Mohag, take it, and he's like, all right, I guess I'll do it.
Well, a little bit of the Chaos Gremlin. Hyro wanted to see what would happen if Mohag had such a thing.
I mean, Skeggi didn't say, "Oh yeah, Mohag, you have this swell weapon." I mean, Skeggi was, and I was like, "Well, shit, it's like here's this weapon that no one here can use other than Mohag. So I guess we give it to Mohag."
Yeah, that's true.
Because I mean, it was clearly a strength weapon, so it was never going to do Skeggi any good.
No,
yeah. And Barak.
No, mechanically it only made sense for maybe Barak to use it, but yeah, he's
already got the best weapon in the party. He's not going to give that up.
No, he would, and he wouldn't need to.
It's a big part of who he is.
Exactly,
and Dust Crusher.
Well, we got to see. Waith has some more tricks up its sleeve, and Mohag's going to be using it. I just didn't expect it to be Mohag to like attune to it and talk to it and like understand it, because I assumed that even if you didn't use it, you'd still like want to learn from it. And once you learned it was sentient, but yeah, I just assumed that somebody's going to talk to it, and now it's actually for the best thing ever. because it's hilarious to see Mohag translate what he says back to you guys. He's like the middleman.
I was going to
Great.
say it's awesome that he ended up with it. That was the best choice
Yeah.
that we or anyone could have done. It's perfect.
Well, we'll see more of Wraith and Mohag soon. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, I mean, I guess the other. Oh, go ahead.
One
Yeah,
second, real quick. It does
Yeah.
make Mohag more valuable as a party member. Though.
Yeah.
that's
You know,
true.
it gives him a more of a reason to not let him die.
He's actually pretty nasty with that sword now. Like with that sword, he has 10-foot reach. It does more damage against giants, which you're gonna fight more of, certainly. And it's a magical weapon, so he doesn't have to worry about like resistances and whatnot. Like he now is formidable. He also leveled up this campaign, so he's got 2 attacks. He already crits on 19 and 20. Like he actually is not bad, and he's gonna be with you guys, at least for the next chapter. I'd say the most of it, unless something terrible happens to him.
I think it's great
Oh,
for the story, and I also think my favorite part of D&D is watching Bob play with himself as like 6 different characters having interactions with only himself. That's why I joined the channel, was to watch that. So
That's it.
I'll watch the channel. Watch Bob play with himself.
He
Yeah.
does it
That's it.
flawlessly too. Like I can't do something like that when I try to DM.
That's so funny.
You know
He
what I
does
really
the-
feel like? I feel like Smeagol and Gollum is what I feel like. That's what I
It's
feel like
amazing.
when I got to go from like Orin to Mohag to Magar to whoever, Darius, whoever was with us,
Nosmer.
Nosnra. Yeah, if there were a villain in there too, and I'm like, oh my god. Eris, you had some moments with Mohag. What did you think of? What was her? I guess her feelings towards him.
I think she trusted him maybe the most out of the group. Him and Heironimous, weirdly, were the ones she kind of bonded with in the beginning.
Mm.
Because I think she baked the cookies for Heironimous, the almond cookies, and that kind of bonded them.
And
I
they
don't
were a
remember.
material component he used later, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll have to make some more. I don't remember what it was that first like bonded her with Mohag, but they ended up in that like haircut situation where she's giving him a haircut and he's like spilling his whole life story to her. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go back and rewatch the first few episodes because I don't remember how they got there, but I think he was always nice to her. And I think she maybe saw or picked up on that, like people were picking fun at him or something, maybe the other group members.
Well, you were a
So
newbie. You were the newbie, and he
I
was
was
like,
the
"Listen,
newbie.
from someone who has been the newbie, let me explain you how this
Yeah.
group works." And he
There
had
we go.
there was that scene where you were in the market with when Glendor first walked in, and he explains
Yes.
the intricacies of the party and all their
Yes.
interpersonal relationships, and he does it from his point of view. And that I think was a good scene for the two
Yes,
of them.
yeah. So she likes Mohag. I think she hasn't talked to him as much. No, he brought her back to life once. In the
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
thing, he saved her once, I
Mhm.
think. And yeah, so she likes Mohag. They have a good relationship, and we'll see how, as she maybe starts to trust certain party members less. Looking at you, Barak, with your sending
Can't
stone.
imagine why.
Maybe she'll be more drawn to her OG Hyro
How-
and Mohag. I don't know.
How old is Mohag, by the way?
I think he's probably closer to like Barak's age. I don't think he was particularly old when you met him.
Okay.
Maybe in his early 30s, something like that.
Okay, I didn't even know that he was that old. Okay.
Well, he might be younger. I never gave him an age, but I just know that when he was when you met him, he was already like, an adventurer. Like that was the thing. I didn't want him to be like a brand new person. So like maybe he was a brand new hero. Like maybe he was already adventuring and was a local legend, and then moved on to the Borderlands. And remember, he calls himself Mohag the Great. We know because his mom called him
Okay.
that, but
He's
whatever.
a legend in his own mind.
He's a legend in his own mind, and I think he's proven himself worthy of being part of the party for a few times. He's helped out a lot, but definitely, I mean, now he's more formidable. Like for the first half of this game, he is one attack, that's it. But now with the sword, with his 2 attacks, just mechanically, he's more helpful, and I think he's I don't know. I certainly like him, not because I want to play more NPCs, but just because I think he helps the party in ways like he can sometimes be a little bit of a buffer or a glue, and for a DM, it's good to have some NPCs to provide some ideas when the party feels like they're maybe out of ideas. Although I try not to like make Mohag be like a DM PC. I try not to be like, let's do this, guys. Mohag puts in his 2 cents, and I think it's not always the best ideas. Like I purposely make it so he doesn't give you the best ideas, because then I don't want to influence your play that much. But Mohag's got his own personality, and it's coming into play more and more. And I guess the last thing I want to just compare from the original module to now is, I did add in a little political intrigue plot. It never got discussed, but like Bertha, the hill giantess, she was leading a group that was resisting the divine binding. Now, the divine binding, we still know very little about it. It could have been a way to get a little more information about it. I'm going to still not tell you everything about it, but she certainly didn't feel the call, that's for sure. And she was planning on doing some sort of either a coup or a sort of a way to try to dissent from the group. And it was going to come to a head. She might have been able to get you to help her and do that. But I feel like the way that your path went through the keep, and it never came up. It never became a thing. Though I will say, if you had talked to her, that's where maybe some sort of like diplomacy could have came in. And we never happened. There were a couple of things that you also never ended up doing in the keep, and that's okay. It is what or in the steading, and it's okay.
We never saw her interacting with the other giants before we met her.
You only met her when she came into the
kitchen.
fireplace room. Yeah.
And we all hid, and she
You were
didn't
hiding.
see us.
Correct. Yep.
So what I'm saying is, perhaps if we had seen her,
yeah, totally,
having some sort of unfriendly or oppressed kind of interaction with the other giants, then we might have seen her as a potential ally.
And I was going to say, if you had spied, I think Heironimous did this once, where you spied a little bit on the party that was going on. If you were to maybe spy at different points in the game, that could have been a way to see what she was saying as opposed to not. And also, you stole those potions, right? You stole the potions, right? There were potions in her chest.
But we gave them back.
But we gave them back.
You gave them back to who, though? You put them...
We left them for one of her assistants to find. As I recall, they were out of place, but
oh right, they came in. The assistant came in.
One of her little ogre sidekicks said, "Oh,
yes.
Here they are," or something like that. So they didn't really twig to the fact that we had stolen them and given them back. And then I took some of that drow poison and laced the wine in Nosra's room.
Right. Yes.
And that never turned into anything.
No, and that wouldn't, honestly, because Nosra's not going to go and drink that. But the potions were potions, and I don't want to make a mistake and tell you the wrong thing, but I think they were called potions of giant mind controlling or something like that. Is what they were called. Hold on a second. I want to make sure I get this. Make sure I can do the right thing here. Potions of giant control. That's what they were called. Yep. Yeah. So they're in the original game. That's what they were called. Potion of giant control. And she was going to use that on Nosra. And if you had maybe talked to her or had some sort of like agreement to be like on her side, she would have done that. That could have been a whole crazier, because then there would have been the people on Nosra fighting her giants and with you, and it would have been a different outcome entirely. But I like I said, it doesn't always seem obvious to players, like things from the DM side. It doesn't always seem obvious from players to the from the player side to the DM. So it's just one of those things about D&D that it didn't go in that direction. But I feel like there are lots of ways that both this part, the second and third parts, can go. But I will say, there at some point, fighting is going to be a part of it. This is like a big part of this adventure. Fighting is going to definitely play a role. Whether I like to try to mitigate the fighting if you do things that will help you. Like if you find something and can think outside the box, or you propose an idea that I didn't even think about, and I just give you, let something like that happen, it would help with that combat in some way. And we already did, actually. Instead of fighting everything in there, you ended up getting the orcs. You had those orcs helped because Nate had the sending stone. There's a possibility if you declined it, he would have tried to track you. It wouldn't have worked out as well. He might not have found you. He certainly wouldn't be able to coordinate or know that what you were doing. If you had ditched the sending stone at some point, if you had tossed it or talked to him maybe earlier, you would have maybe been able to hear some of his plans. So there was a lot of things that I had thought about that could have happened. But, you know, it went, I think, the way that it was meant to, and everybody did survive, which I was really, really happy about, because I would have felt so bad if we lost like 3 characters in that last campaign. But I mean, that's D&D, you know, it could go bad. So, last thoughts here on the game so far, and then we'll close this conversation out. And maybe just favorite moments, or something that, you know, anything you want to say. It's up to you. I'll leave it open to you. And maybe we'll also get some questions from the chat. If you have questions for the players, let us know. So while we're doing this last little bit, we can answer some of them right at the end. But yeah, let's go around the horn here and talk about some of our takeaways, favorite moments, favorite scenes. Anybody want to go first specifically?
I'll go.
Chris, go ahead. Take it away.
Yeah, I love how the group is evolving, how the players are growing with their power to like truly benefit each other. I think that this is a really wonderful evolution to watch.
I agree. Can't agree more. I feel like when you're the DM, you kind of feel like you're like a parent of the group. It's like you're watching your kid's game, you know. It's and I
think,
can't help but root for you guys.
I think that the move from it happens in D&D campaigns as you get closer to 10th level, and you go from low level play into mid game play,
Mhm.
and the characters become more versatile, and the mechanically in combat, for example, mostly they play very differently. And I think that that's most evident in Heironimous, because wizards really, spellcasters really change as they get close to 10th level, and a bunch of doors open up to them, and
Mhm.
they have lots more spell slots than they did, and they have lots more spell options than they did, and
Not just
the
fireball.
rest, yeah. Well, and Fireball is deliberately an overpowered spell. I mean, that was design
Right.
choice, and
Especially early on when you first get it, yeah.
which means that it gets used a lot in what, 6th level? Is that when you get it? 5th level, something
You
like
get a
that.
5th level. Yeah.
So like 5th, 6th, 7th level, like boom, 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 because it's the best spell you've got by far. But then you know, as you get up to 9th, 10th, 11th level, then all of a sudden you have a lot more tools in your chest that rival
Yeah.
it for effectiveness.
They're cool.
And other people do too. Maybe not as dramatic a change as a main spellcaster, but everybody's got tools that they didn't have before. And
I love seeing the
I,
party like work together, and all these you said spells, abilities, they all feel like they're working like sort of like as one big machine now, especially in that last combat. If you didn't work as well, if it was just, you know, everybody kind of soloing a giant, it probably would have ended in um, everybody dying. So, you know, some of those decisions you made too, like Skeggi leading the orc army, was very important because there were lots more threats to the north. That was important, having those orcs there as the buffer. The ogres at the south side, that was important. Glendor, I know he's an a-hole, but like he helped. Like that was tremendous having him there, because that drew some of the giants away. So like a lot of decisions you made outside of pure fighting did help you in the last combat, and that was the reward I think that you guys got from having so many good decisions throughout the game.
and
I
I
got
think
some. Oh, go ahead.
so, and I think that you mentioned in your text to us before this about things you want to talk about, just to call back to
Mhm.
that. I think that's an important difference between modern 5e super heroic D&D and old school, you know, rags to riches, zero to hero D&D, is that you really needed, characters were a lot less powerful in old D&D than they are in 5e D&D, and you needed to be thinking about how can we just not have to have this fight. I mean, we had to have this fight, but there were aspects, as you point out, there were aspects of this that we didn't have to fight because we had made allies, or we had
Yeah.
other NPCs that were able to point at each other, so we didn't have to kill them. And I think that doesn't come up so much in modern D&D. It's all very much about, the party of heroes facing the BBEG.
Yeah, I
And,
think I think in most of our campaigns, even keep on the Borderlands, but like thinking of all the ones we've done on this channel, I feel like there's been some sort of version of that in all our big final battles, bosses, is that the decisions you all made kind of come back and it helps you in a way. Maybe not everybody lives, but in some of them, it would have been without a doubt a TPK without some of the decisions you made earlier. So I love to see that, and you did great. I'm just going to read off some of the chat here because they have some really good moments too. Should ask them to do this segment, but Grok Exile said a bunch. Skeggi leading the orc army. Barak bringing down the cave to foil the monsters was awesome. Sasori saving Mohag when he first was his first going down death. Cam says, what was the most frightening moment of the party? I feel like I know the answer. For me, it's definitely the final battle, but maybe there was something else for an individual character. Eris's transformations being a mystery. All those, there's a lot of good stuff here. We'll jump in, but maybe we'll touch on that. Maybe Eris, what about you? Or Eris, Dasha, what about you?
Her favorite moment in the campaign, or
Either
frightening?
favorite or most frightening, or
So I think favorite was the first few episodes because that is my, as a player, first time being in this world, and Eris's first time like being in the keep. And obviously
Mhm.
she's had been there before the campaign started, but like on screen.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy character development. I really enjoy world building to the point of like I can vividly imagine like what her apartment looks like. Like I have that in my head
yeah.
because as we're playing, I'm like imagining it and describing it to some degree. So I really like that element of like setting up what's she been doing there? How has she been living? How are these new guys that she just met gonna come and like blow all that up? Her like semi-peaceful existence after this traumatic event that she had at her monastery. And obviously the monastery scene was another favorite because that just so tragically set everything up where it seems calm. She's talking to her friend and then he's dead. Her other twin friends are dead. Mentor's dead. She gets taken out. So that was like a lot. And then yeah, building the relationships with all of these new characters, whether they're good or bad relationships, some of which maybe aren't fully fleshed out yet. I think most frightening moment was for Eris, the moment in the basement and like in the dungeon where she's climbing on the wall and totally thinks she's safe and
Mm.
rounds a corner and the fire giant blasts her off and she immediately
I remember
falls,
that.
takes fall damage. Because for her, and I think for me, that was my first introduction to how brutal this is really going to be.
You're also sixth
Um,
level at that time. You're 2 levels lower
yes.
than the party.
Yes.
So did
Yeah.
that feel any different?
It felt in the beginning not so much because we were like all so like the first battle was us all fighting like a giant and a couple orcs and she could go in there and like do her martial arts and kick him in the face and just defeat them. Whereas here it's like there's fire being
Good
thrown around and she thinks she's safe because she's on the ceiling, but not really. So that was a lot for her and I think she came down. I think Hyro brought her back, saved her life. And yeah, that was a scary moment for her.
Yeah. That was you really you got tossed around a lot, especially when you were on the ceiling. I feel like maybe the ceiling may not be the best place for her.
Maybe, yeah, she's gonna realize she's gonna need to figure out some like ranged weapon.
Not
option,
against giants.
possibly. Yeah.
Just
Um,
reach it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else's favorite moments or most frightening moments?
I think the last big fight when we had, like we mentioned earlier, you have like 5 heroes either down or incapacitated. Like that was like I was like, this is
This is
this
bad.
is bad.
Yeah.
This is really bad. And not that I'm like the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I'm very proud of myself that I got Eris back up. You know, that was like a luck
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
dice, a luck of like having the duplicate ready and having 1 healing spell, and it was like, boy, that felt
Huge.
great.
Huge.
Because
Yeah.
again, as a
absolutely.
cleric, I don't often heal, but I won't let you die. Like people won't die. You
Yeah,
keep that.
Thank you.
I didn't know you still had that bullet in the chamber.
He
When the whole
spoke
thing
about
happened.
something like 2 spells left or something like that before the final combat.
and
I
I
think I had
had
to use a channel divinity to get like a second level spell slot pack, and that's the only reason I
Okay.
had it.
That's it.
I had two dice left in the rod, and I knew that I could get to Mohag and jolt him alive, and I was pretty confident that I could throw the rod
Hmm.
to Sasori, and that Sasori could catch it and save Eris. I didn't know that Tim had any availability.
Yeah. So when
And
Sasori goes down, you're probably like, "Oh my
the
god."
moment when Sasori went down, I'm like, they're both dead.
Yeah.
I can't, and I'm sitting there counting squares,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, how am I going to decide which one I save?
Oh, Jeff,
And then
I
I'm
was
counting
counting
squares,
squares.
and I'm like, I can't get
I was
there,
counting them.
and so, and I was like, okay,
Which one would you have chosen?
I've got,
The real question.
oh, that's
Well,
so hard to.
It's
that's so
okay.
hard to
John's not
say.
here. You can tell the truth.
Well, that's funny is he
Yeah.
doesn't know. What's funny is he doesn't know Sasori that well because Scory died, and then
Yeah.
Karg was really the one you knew for a long time,
Hmm.
and then you left to keep. So you only had a couple episodes together with Sasori, ever.
Right. Yeah, and we were not together in Vecna either. So,
Right.
And he's a murderer.
yeah. So anyhow,
Oh, that's funny.
I don't. Yeah, I don't have any. Particular. I probably would have saved the little girl.
Interesting.
Which, because I mean, he's 350 years old. He thinks.
Anybody under 50
Don't
is
mean that
young.
pejorative. Anybody
Yes.
under 180 is a little person.
It's a
to
kid.
him, is a kid.
Alas.
But
As
yeah, no, I thought
Sasori likes to say, a young lass.
I was pretty confident that between my decks and Sasori's decks that we were probably going to somehow be able to pull off that transfer. And the other thing I knew that no one else seemed to be remembering was that the rod has one of its quirks is that the only people that can use it are people who are involved with its creation.
Yes.
And it occurs to me now, Sasori wasn't there.
Oh, but the blood.
So I don't, even if I tossed it to him, it may not have worked. Because it was Karg that was there when we made the rod, wasn't it?
Was he?
May have been.
Chat, let us
pretty
know.
sure.
Pat, tell us, please.
Because I knew that Eris wasn't going to be able to use it, and I worried that Sasori might not be able to use it.
I just
What if
want to know
Eris
why
could
Chris...
use it though because it had the Noctis symbol on it? What if she could use it?
Oh well, maybe so. But the quirk was very specific when we went through we rolled the dice for the various qualities of it, and it may
Greyhawk Exile says it
be
was
ruined.
Karg.
We're going to have to roll for that. What it was
Greyhawk
Karg,
Exile says it was Karg.
I think
Yeah,
she'll
I
have to try it and
sure.
see.
Well, it may be exhausted because I used its last charge. It's the first time.
Oh, we got to
used
roll
it,
that
spin it to
actually.
0.
We're going to have to roll that along with our hit points when we get back.
Yeah.
There was a lot of expenditure of power. Hyro used a lot of his resources that he had been storing.
You were saving, yeah,
including a level 5 scroll that cannot be replaced. So
that's true.
He was waiting to scribe that into his spell book, but it had to be done.
Yeah,
Hyro.
not having that rod is going to change what Skeggi does in combat quite a lot, because I was doing a lot of jabbing people back to life with that thing.
We'll see. I mean, it's not guaranteed that it is gone.
I know.
So we'll see. Any other last favorite moments or scary moments? Barak, what about you? I feel like you had a couple of moments at the end, the last couple episodes, where it could have been scary and heroic. You're muted.
You're muted.
Yep.
That was his most terrifying moment.
Nailed it. Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways those last rolls could have gone, and I was glad that they worked out. I agree. Probably the collapsing the cave was probably my favorite part.
That was cool.
The scariest part was surrounded by the rock while his friends are dying. So I think Barak is always saving some lay on hands. He's always going to have probably 5, ready for that situation. And he thought he was sprinting over to help Erik. And when that didn't work out, that was going to go bad. But I gotta say, some of my favorite parts are those moments when Dasha has Eris give like Barak an inch, and I get so excited, and Barak's like, "Yes, she's let me in," and then he fucks it up like the next day every time. It's
Mhm.
like,
What do you mean the next day? 2 minutes later, the sending
right,
stone was like
it's a week between us, but yeah, it's minutes in the game, and it's this hilarious back and forth that I'm loving the drama.
Just a minute, Eris. I have to take this.
Yep. Oh, what did I do? Oh,
just clasping hands with your worst enemy, Eris, over here.
Love it. Anything else? Any other favorite moments? Scary moments? Looking in the chat. see if there's any-
Foggy plans here talking about when Eris and Hyro, when Hyro took her hand and guided her to
Oh,
the
yeah.
giant, the Hyro had managed to,
Wait, I forgot about this. That was so good.
when the Hyro had managed to grasp the giant and squeeze him to within an inch of his life with that Bigsby's hand, and then he took Eris's hand and very gently and kindly and with a smile on his face guided her hand to his face, and then to snarl and blasted him in. Yes.
I love
That
it.
was amazing, and thank you as a player and as Eris. Thank you for doing that because that was so cool. And
Yes.
that like left my brain. I forgot that happened, but I
I
need to go
thought
back
you
and
were gonna-
rewatch it.
I thought you were gonna be like, you're above this, Eris. Take the high road.
I thought so too,
I
but it was so
remember
good.
thinking-
Hyro sensed that it had to happen.
I wonder.
She had to be blooded.
I remember thinking, I wonder if there's a psychotherapist in chat to
Sure hope not.
discuss what exactly that was about, because
Someone
it seemed pretty freaking twisted to
Well,
me.
instead of taking the
Yes.
high road, you take the high rose way of doing
Heironimous.
things, and that'll be our new phrase: take the high road. Take the high road,
Take the Hyro.
like the Hyro.
which is
So
really
what do
the
you think?
lowest road you
Yes.
could go.
Well,
Yeah,
it needed to happen. She had to feel this.
Yeah.
yeah. That's gonna be a conversation when we come
Mhm.
back with her and Heironimous.
Yes.
By the way, confirmed. Cam, Greyhawk, everyone confirmed. It was Sasori met his demise to the Medusa in episode 27, and episode 39 was where we crafted the rod, which was the titled "Live, Craft, Love."
So my plan wasn't going to work anyway.
No.
No,
Even if we
but-
could have, even
But I'll tell you what, though, even if you did, I didn't remember that, so it would have happened, and we.
no, I would have fessed it up.
Oh, okay.
I would have said, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I was pretty sure we could manage the handoff.
Yeah.
But because they're both pretty dexterous characters. But
I will admit, I feel like as I've gotten older and have played so much D&D, there's a lot of things that I feel like are rattling around in my brain that I have a hard time, even though I have notebooks and Google Doc sheets and everything filled with notes. It's so hard for me to remember everything too. And I have these like big ideas from like day one to day, the end of the campaign. And I think about those things all throughout, but there's some little things that I'm like, we did that. Sometimes I'll talk to people or something and I'm like, oh my God, you're totally right. That was a thing. And I forgot completely because I feel like I'm managing a million things, but man, it's good when you guys can remember that because it helps save me a lot of trouble.
There's only 4 people on the planet that can use that item.
Yes, and they're mostly here.
Yeah.
All here.
All here.
Yeah.
They're all here.
Ew.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us here. I'm really excited for the next part of this campaign. When we get back with John and the rest of the group, we're going to talk about what we're going to do next, where our next move is. I think we're going back to the keep. That's our next step. We're going to level up. I'm going to tell you what else you found in the Hill Giant Steading that's of note or would be of value to the group. And we're going to roll our hit points. We're going to get John's opinions on Sasori and his take on the first part of the campaign. And then we'll jump into the second part of the adventure, which, let's see. Do I have the title here? I think I do. The Glacial Rift of the Frost Giant Jarl.
Oh,
Excited?
oh boy.
Excited about
Gonna
that
be
one?
hype.
Gonna be hype.
So good.
preemptively nervous.
That feels
All
like a
right.
double entendre.
It's going to be excellent. But
They must have vulnerability to fire.
they must. I'm not telling you. These are special hill giants
Absolutely.
of Illustria. They're fire frost giants. They have very special stat blocks compared to the regular ones of the Forgotten Realms. So very unique. We'll see. Chris is giving me evil eye over there. Look at him. But until we see you next time, thanks for joining us for this little conversation. I hope you're excited about what's to come here in the campaign and the channel. But we'll see you all in September on the tabletop. Have a good night, everybody.
Can't wait.
Bye.
Hi, everybody.